Hi, welcome to the walkthrough for assignment 7a. I know I don't normally give walkthroughs for assignments, but this one's got enough moving pieces on it. You've got to use it on a Windows machine, so you Mac users, you need to use the FSU's VLab. Two, you've got to import some files. Three, the files are zipped, so you have to decompress them. And then you have to transfer them to the VLab if you're using the Mac. And then on top of all that, we're using an exciting new add-in that's part of the Excel stack now called Power Pivot. It's an incredibly powerful way of working with huge volumes of data. Normally, Excel has limitations of like a million rows, but with Power Pivot, you can have millions or billions of rows because the rows are disconnected from the Excel file itself. The file itself just imports just a compressed image of the data, but lets you work with it and view it and come up with some pivot tables and some pretty cool stuff. So I'll walk you through all this and see you on the other side. Thank you very much, and go Knowles. So for the benefit of the Mac users, this walkthrough, I'm actually using FSU's VLab. So this is exactly what you'll do. So first we get the starting file, and that's just an empty Excel file. So click on that, and if it opens, just close it. It's probably in your downloads directory waiting for you. So now we'll go and get the resources files, which is where all the meat and potatoes are for this assignment. So it downloads as a zipped file, which is really a compressed folder that contains a bunch of stuff. In this case, if you double click on the zip file, it creates the folder that houses the two resource items that we're going to use for the assignment. One is 700 kilobytes in size, the other one's 1 kilobyte in size. The first one is an Access database, and the second one is just a text file. So now that we've got the files downloaded onto my Mac, now I'll go to the VLab. So if you Google just FSU VLab, it'll take you to this page here. So if I can remember how to type my name, K Armstrong 2, there's my password. I'm not going to tell you that today. All right, so if you've got Excel favorited, it's already out there, but if you don't, it's over here. If you do want to favorite, you can click on that gold star. But now just click on that, and after a few seconds, it hopefully launches. If it doesn't, clear out your browsing history for all time. All right, so I'm going to browse and look on my desktop, and there's really nothing there. There's a few files from one of my other classes that I've taught. So I have to upload the files from my Mac to this page. Oh, by the way, make sure you set the resolution to this auto fit screen to make sure that everything shows correctly. Now, you have to upload the files from your Mac to your desktop up in the cloud. So if you look in your downloads directory of your Mac, you'll see the folder, which contains that Access database, and the text file. If you hit the Shift key, it'll let you select both of them. Then you have to upload it. You have to tell it where you're going to upload it. So if you click on this PC and desktop, now those two files are safely tucked away on the desktop of your VLab virtual machine. Now let me get that starter file, that empty Excel file as well. That's in my downloads directory, and there it is. And I'm going to put that on my desktop too. So this involves uploading to the VLab desktop 3 files, the Excel starter file and then the 2 resource files as well. So now I'm going to open that Excel starter file and hit Enable Editing. And let's go to town. Now the first step says to look for the Power Pivot, but it's not there. This is an add-in, a COM add-in that you have to add. So come over here to Add-ins. There's Power Pivot for Excel. It says it's a COM add-in and it's inactive. So we have to activate it by going to COM add-ins and go, and then finding Power Pivot. There's really a couple other cool things here too that you ought to play with. Power Map and Power View is some really neat stuff. Now we've got Power Pivot, and we need to import the data by managing it. Now for this assignment, it's not that big of a deal because each of these assets are really pretty small. But in real life, these could be terabytes in size. So I'm going to hit the text file and then browse and go to my desktop. If you don't see desktop there, click on this PC and then desktop, and then there's the text void air file. And it imports, but watch out, don't click next here, don't finish it until you click on this use first rows as column headers, because if you don't, all your column headers are just called F1, F2, F3. That's not going to do you any good. So click on that checkbox, and now they're called flight date, flight, and code. Now you've got that. Now you can finish it. Success. Ta-da! All right, now let's import the data from one of the tables in that Access database. So if you click on this from Access and browse, go to your desktop. It's called Database 10. And I usually hit Test Connection just to make sure that it works. Yay, it succeeded. And then you can just hit Next. And let's select from a list of tables. Next. Find the table void air table. And you get this annoying message, but just hit OK. I'm sure it means something to somebody, but we're only dealing with 28 rows and all the data's here in this one machine, so I trust it. And there's the data. So the next thing it asks is to make a relationship between these two tables of data and link them so that you can analyze them in Power Pivot as one big data set as opposed to two separate files. So what you have to do here is you have to create a relationship, and here's the table void. Click on the flight date column. We're going to link these two chunks of data by the flight date column because they have the same dates in them. Hit OK. And now you don't have to do this, but if you're into databases, you can actually view the relationship between these two tables by going over here to diagram view, and you see your two tables. It's a one-to-many relationship if you're into databases. I am, so it's important to me, so humor me, okay? All right, so now you're going to make a pivot table out of this, and it's important to click on the existing worksheet, cell A1, rename it to pivot table. Now your two tables are over here, but they're linked by that date, so we can get any type of data from either of those tables onto the same pivot table or pivot chart. So it says to do flight and then flight date, I believe. But when you drag that down, it also splits out the month as part of that. So flight date month, if you just drag it off there, it disappears, or you can click on it and remove it, either way. So we've got our rows correct now. Now it says to put in the number of passengers here. So now you can see for each flight, for each day that that flight flew, how many passengers were on that particular flight. Now it says to change the report layout to tabular form. So got to click on the design ribbon and then the report layout. Now it says to add the code underneath the flight date. So now in addition to all that, we can also see the code, whether it's on time or delayed. Now we have to insert a slicer, and we'll talk more about these in the other videos, but here's the arrival slicer. And ultimately, we're just going to click on this GRB thing, but for now, it says to change the formatting, and I think we want down here in the medium, we want, what does it say? It's like medium, yeah, this is it. Pivot style medium 15. All right, that's done. Now we need to change the formatting of the slicer, and this one is medium slicer style white dark 3. Yay. And I think for some reason it says to move it into approximately starting in F1. Click just on the GRB and then drag it somewhere up around here. And your pivot table should look like that. So now all we have to do is save it. And now remember, this file is on your desktop up in the cloud. We don't want to close it quite yet. First, we need to download it from the cloud to your Mac. So click on download and then go find it on your desktop. And there it is. Notice the time. It's like 10:49 today, so that's right now. So click on that and it goes down to your Mac and it's there, so you can just close it. Don't edit it, don't make any changes to it, just close it. And then once it's closed, then you can go back to SimNet and upload your file, go find it in the downloads directory. There, 1105, that's now. SimNet, yay. Yes, submit the file. And ta-da, 10 out of 10. So this is pretty quick. There'll be more in-depth videos on this, but I didn't want you to struggle needlessly on assignment 7a, especially for you Mac users that need to use this VLab platform, because none of these tools are built into the Mac version of Excel. So I hope that all helps. Good luck, and again, go Knowles.